Hot chicks, cold quick, good pick. One Saturday morning in August, I picked up 27 little furry yellow chicks. And 8 weeks later, 3 of those now massive chunks of chicken make their way with me into the show ring. Will I win the banner and the belt buckle? Hello, my name is Avery Hall. I'm an 8th grader with Chapel Hill Junior FFA. For the last 3 years, I've been raising and showing broiler show chickens at the Titus County Fair. To better learn how to do this, I've done some research that I would like to share with you today. To maximize the growth of the broiler show chicken, there are 3 main things to pay attention to. Keeping chicks and chickens at the correct temperature during the brooding process, culling chickens early in the process, and picking the right chickens in the end. Hot chicks. Temperature control affects chicks and chickens in their growing process. In an article by J.W. Deaton and others, I learned that higher temperatures during the brooding process, or the first 3 weeks of a chicken's life, produce higher body weights. In that 1996 article, researchers varied first week starting temperatures in the brooding environments for 4 different groups, from 95 degrees Fahrenheit all the way down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and reduced temperatures by 5 degrees each week. The group on the higher starting temperature had a significantly higher body weight. Similarly, one of these researchers, B.D. Lott, along with J.D. May, did a more in-depth study in 2000, which shows that chicks can vary as much as half a pound over the first 3 weeks of their life alone. Now, when I say hot chicks, I mean the little furry yellow ones, not hot chickens. When chicks become chickens, heat is the enemy of growth. In a 2012 article by Mack and others showed that birds subjected to heat stress spend less time feeding, more time drinking and walking, as well as more time panting and their wings elevated, with more time and less time moving or walking and more time resting. A chicken that does not move around and does not eat will not become a big chicken, may not even live. Now that we know how temperature control affects the growing process in chicks and chickens, we can talk about what crowding does to their growth. Cull quick. Culling is the process of reducing the population in a group of animals, in our case, a pen of chickens. Basically, culling is removing certain birds so that others have more opportunity for growth. Fred D. Thornberry, a poultry specialist and professor at Texas A&M University, wrote in a Texas Cooperative Extension Bulletin on how to produce broilers and roosters for show that small, sick, stunted, or deformed birds should be removed when detected. Reduce flock size at 4 weeks of age by removing the smaller and poorer fleshed birds. As the how, but why? In a 2008 article in Animal Behavior by Leone and Estevez, noted that in addition to the obvious effect of enclosure size, other factors such as number of individuals per group and their density per unit are likely to affect movement patterns. Again, we want chickens up and moving so they eat more and grow bigger. A crowded pen has more competition for space, food, and water. In an earlier article by Leone and Estevez, noted that as group size increases in a specific size area, aggression over competition for space and resources increases. Culling birds that will not make into larger birds is essential to allow the available resources for those who will. Just as important as choosing which birds to cull is choosing which birds go to show. Good pick. Finally, after managing your temperature control for hot chicks and not hot chickens, culling early to allow for less competition, you are ready for a good pick. A few weeks before my show, I'm ready to pick the chickens that I want to take to the fair. What to look for in the selection process is just as important as temperature control and the culling process. Uniformity among the 3 chickens is key. In a 2010 Utah State Cooperative Bulletin, veterinarian and poultry specialist David D. Frame tells us make sure each bird is closely matched in size, gender, conformation, and color. First, I look for size. Make sure the weight of all the birds in the pen is close to each other. Gender is also important. A pen of chickens needs to be all females, hens, or all males, roosters. Thornberry, our poultry specialist from Texas A&M, reminds us about conformation and to make sure that chickens have a U-shaped breast with no taper from top to bottom of the breast, with a long straight breast whose width is with a broad spring of ribs. Both Frame and Thornberry caution about the defects that can become disqualification factors, such as crooked legs, blindness, crooked breastbones, breast blisters, skin cuts, broken bones, or wings. The worst thing that could happen is to put all of this work into temperature control and culling and not even make it into the show ring because one of the three in the pen has a defect. The process of selection, or good pick, is just as important as the other two issues of hot chick and cold quick. Growing good show chickens relies on these three factors that we've discussed: managing temperature in the growing environment, hot chicks, providing ample space and resources by removing less than the potential birds, cold quick, and being sure that you have the right chickens to make the top end of the show ring, good pick. I hope that you've learned something today. I know I sure have from all of this research. I'm doing my best to apply this information to my growing practices and learning more as I grow. In the end, it's not all about the banner and the belt buckle, but I do like to win.